Hello everybody, my name is Chloe. Welcome back to my channel. I do reading, writing, sometimes lifestyle vlogs, and today is another writing experiment. This is very much the year of writing experiments for me, but this one is, I think, going to be a little bit more fun for me because it is all about fun little treats. That is how I work best. I work best when I have a fun little treat either with me or to work towards. But today's a little different because what I want to do is I want to try out some of those kind of, I'm calling them focus supplements, to see how focused I can really be. The fact that I'm calling this one an experiment is actually the most true it's been out of all these experiments, because I have rules written out for myself. Very scientific here. So let's start with the players of these focus supplements. It all kind of started because I was in CVS waiting for my prescription to be filled. So I was just wandering around and I saw these neuro gummies, which, not gummies, neuro gum. Little beauty influencer moment. Oh, that's not even working at all. Hello? There we go. But yeah, I saw these like on some stand right next to the pharmacy, and I bet I looked really silly picking up my prescription and focus gum. But I've also seen some stuff like this on TikTok where obviously when people are selling things for TikTok shop, they're literally like getting paid and they get money from people buying it. So they're really hamming it up. So I didn't want to give any of them my money. So I just picked this up, at CVS. But this is Energy and Focus Gum Spearmint. It's listed as a dietary supplement. It has natural caffeine, L-theanine, and B vitamins, and zero sugar. And it is saying that there is natural caffeine. It is 40 milligrams from green coffee bean extract. And says, take as necessary to support energy and focus. Do not swallow. So do with that what you will. So there are 9 of them in here. Then we have these Awake chocolates. If I remember correctly, there are 50 in each. Let me see. Usage, 4 pieces per day maximum. Yeah, so there is 50 milligrams in these chocolates. And when I was at BU, like in undergrad, they used to sell full bars of these chocolates. So each little square was 50 milligrams. And I would eat, I think the idea is that you're supposed to have one bar and then, an hour later have one square. And then an hour later have another square, like as you're studying. No, I would just pound the entire bar and then just go for it. But recently at work, my coworkers, or one of them in particular, she doesn't drink caffeine, and I'd seen like a pack of, I think there was 30 at TJ Maxx, and I brought them into work, so both of us are kind of obsessed with them. So we literally put it in the budget for this month to get these, so I did steal these from work. That is 50 milligrams. And the last but not least, I have these energy shots. So this one is passion fruit. This one is mango spinach. Maybe to keep the experiment, I should have gotten them the same, but I just wanted to try. And these are 100 milligrams of caffeine. That is something too I did not think about. The science is not correct. I just thought this would be fun. But so they are all varying levels of caffeine. Might affect some of the results, but there's other rules, okay? So you might have noticed that I had 2 of the chocolates and I had 2 of the energy shots. So I'm gonna do 2 trials per thing. I'm going to then set a 1-hour timer, and I'm just going to hopefully lock in and write for 1 hour. And then at the end of the hour, I'm going to record how many words I wrote. So this is where it gets very scientific, is I'm going to recreate the same environment. Because you know, sometimes when you're at different places, you feel more inspired to write. So I decided that I'm going to just fully sit at my desk, my regular desk, nothing crazy, and I'm gonna do it all at the same time. So probably first thing in the morning. Just so, well, maybe I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of wake myself up a little bit, have the same breakfast every single time, just so I can't say, oh, I couldn't focus because I was hungry, or I couldn't focus because I had a bad sleep last night, because I'm giving myself a little time to wake up. I'm also going to listen to the same playlist every single time, because I think I've mentioned before, when I write, I like to make playlists and different Pinterest boards to kind of get myself in the mood for that specific story, because I do have multiple stories going on at a time. So I'm going to listen to the same playlist each time. So the same playlist 8 times. It's fine. I like the playlist that I made for this story. No external caffeine snacks and drinks. Like I said, I do love myself a sweet treat. I do know that I am more productive when I have like a drink or a snack or something. Mostly drinks. I'm mostly a drink person, so I told myself I'm only allowed to have my Awala with me full of water. And the last thing, part of this rule, is I'm gonna be working on a new story. So with my Regency era novel that I've been working on for 5 years, I'm very familiar and in tune with that novel, but I'm doing developmental edits. That means that, you know, as I'm reading through a chapter, I'm not only doing line edits, but some of the chapters I'm completely changing. And so that jars things, where it's like I can get through some chapters that need like little to no editing very quickly, versus ones that need more editing, like those definitely take more time, and I, you know, get stopped up on those a lot more. So to kind of make it all an even playing field, I'm just going to completely start writing my new novel. So that is what my plan is for this video. So I will put in some B-roll of me with the different supplements, me checking in to show you guys how many words I did, and I'll be back for a little wrap up when I'm done. I will see you guys then. Bye. Good morning, everybody. It is 8:30 on a Sunday morning, and I'm going to be doing the first round of this writing experiment today. I tried to kind of make all the variables repeatable. For example, I made my bed, I had breakfast. My room is not clean in the slightest, and that's because I'm moving soon, which also made me realize that I'm probably only going to be able to get 2 or 3 of these writing experiments out of the 6 done in this room. So if the background changes, that's why. That's also, you know, not repeatable. But this is not the most scientific thing at all. So I'm not like too worried about it. I'm just trying to write, okay? That's what I'm trying to do. What I did do last night is, if you're a writer, you know it's always so hard to write the first line. So I sat down and I was like, okay, we're gonna write the first 300 pages of my new piece, just so I have something to go off of and I'm not like agonizing over it. And to be fair, that took me like 45 minutes. So I'm very glad that I did that last night instead of today. So I already have up to 7 chapters plotted of this new thing I'm working on, and about 200-300 pages or 300 words of the story. So I don't think I'm gonna run out of stuff at all during this experiment, so that's great. First one I wanted to do, because the thought of having a piece of chocolate right now, not good to me. So I'm doing the Energy Passion Fruit by So Good For You. Yeah. There's a lot of sediment in the bottom. That's probably because it's been in my little mini fridge for weeks. So yeah, it's a cold pressed juice shot, 100 milligrams of caffeine, and I'm gonna recycle it because it's recycled bottle. Ugh, okay. It doesn't smell great. I'm gonna be honest, guys. Okay, ready? We're not gonna think about it. Could have been worse. Very much could have been worse. If you're wondering how I take shots, that's how I take shots, because I can't. But yeah. Oh, good. Okay, good morning. I'll see you guys in an hour and we'll talk about what I did. It's an hour later and I'm done with the first round of the experiment. I wrote 608 words and I surprisingly stayed off my phone for most of it. There were a few times where I was on Pinterest. The first 5 minutes were kind of spent rereading what I wrote last night, you know, getting the vibe set again. I looked at my Pinterest board that I created that's kind of inspired by the vibe of this book. And I also started playing my playlist, I will say. So a little bit of background on the story is, I've kind of mentioned it, I wanted to take place in 2006 because everyone's getting a flip phone or a BlackBerry. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to deal with social media or that in my story. And I think it's kind of fun this way. But that led me to thinking that I wanted to add some Panic at the Disco songs onto the playlist. So then I went and I listened to a early 2000s playlist, which I know I said I was gonna stay with the same playlist the whole time, but who cares? I would have been bored if I had just listened to the same like 1 hour loop every single time. So I did add a few Panic at the Disco songs that I really liked when I was younger, but it's really funny because I looked up, so one of my favorite albums is the Vices and Virtues album, and that kind of just led me down a rabbit hole that apparently Panic at the Disco, like the original band, broke up in 2009, and Vices and Virtues came out in 2011, which is my favorite album by them. But it was all, you know, like Brendon Urie. But so that means that some of the songs I added, because they felt very nostalgic to me, came out 5 years after I want the story to take place. So the accuracy is just like not there, but I don't really care. They feel so nostalgic to me, and it makes sense because they were what I listened to when I was in middle school and not what I listened to when I was in elementary school. Because in elementary school I was listening to like Disney Princess soundtrack. But anyways, that was a very fun, productive last hour. Oh my god, talking about music completely derailed me just then. So I want to now talk about like the actual writing process. I feel like my writing style is a lot more enjoyable to me now than it was when I started my first piece, which is funny because I started writing the first piece because I wanted to work on my writing style, but it's a little different because my first piece is Regency era, because that's like kind of what I thought I mostly wanted to write. So it's like the language is just a little different. So it was kind of fun to start writing in something like completely new, like a completely new style to me. I will say something that really caught me up, and I think is why I didn't write as many words as I probably could have, is because I wrote a big majority, like probably most of the 600 words, went to the bathroom, and when I came back I reread it just to kind of get the vibe again. It was all in present tense, and I have such a bad habit of hopping back and forth between present and past tense, and obviously I want to write my stuff in past tense. That's just like a preference. Like I really don't like reading things in present tense. Also, I recently realized when I was reading an Ali Hazelwood book, like I hadn't read one in a really long time, I realized it's all in first person, which was crazy to me that I had never noticed that before, because sometimes like reading a book in first person will completely turn me off, just like reading a book in present tense completely turns me off. And so I had to reread and go back through it and change everything to past tense, and I think I'm gonna have to like take another look at it later tonight just to make sure everything is in past tense, like truly. So now I will follow back up with you guys when I see you for the next round of the experiment. All right, see ya. Hello everybody, I am back for the second round of our experiment today. You may notice that the background looks a little different. And you might say, Chloe, didn't you say you were gonna try to get around 2 to 3 rounds of your experiment done before you moved, you know, for scientific purposes? To that I say mind your own business. But yes, I did move. I was only able to film one thing because I got so busy, but again, this is not the most scientific thing ever. So we're just gonna keep rolling, we're gonna keep rocking. So what I have today, I know last time I said that it was early enough in the morning that I didn't feel like having chocolate. We're going with the chocolate today. So this is the Awake little bar of chocolate. In college, they used to have these at BU, like on the cash registers of Cityco, and I bought a lot of them, actually, especially my freshman and my sophomore year, and each little like nugget was supposed to have 50 milligrams. Yeah, 50 milligrams of caffeine. 4 pieces per day maximum, says on the back of this. But they would sell them in the 4-pack bars, and I would just like smash an entire bar in like 20 seconds. I don't do that anymore, obviously. I'm better with my caffeine intake, but at work, actually, we use these a lot when we need our little like afternoon pick-me-up. So I don't know if I'm gonna eat it on camera, like in front of you guys right now, but it's just a bar of chocolate. Like they were always like, they were shaped in a weird, like, you see that like arch? But yeah, I'm just gonna, oh, it's an owl, that's why. I don't know if it was always like that. I remember it being weird shaped when I first got it, but I'm gonna cut me eating the rest of it. All right, that's gonna be really fun editing about a minute solid of me eating a piece of chocolate. But yeah, let's get started. I'm gonna start a timer for a minute. I did reread a little bit of what I wrote just so I wasn't like jumping into the deep end, because it's been a really long time, probably 2 months since I touched this project, maybe a little bit less, but that's to say I read through a little bit and I already wanted to edit a little bit, but I'm not gonna let myself do that. That's not the point of this. The point of this is just starting to write. Yeah, I'll see you guys in a second. Can you see her? Oh my gosh, she's the cutest thing ever. Okay. I just finished the experiment, the hour. I wrote 539 words, which is only about 72 less than I wrote last time, which is kind of crazy because if we're thinking it experiment-wise, that's a 50 milligram difference in caffeine levels and only 70 words difference. I don't know, there's science there. I don't know what I'm trying to do here. I'm mostly just having fun and forcing myself to write, but I think I totally could have written more. My problem, I showed in a clip, were these. You see, like, was what I was doing here, and I will explain this in a second. Why I didn't just get a full piece of notebook paper and decided to write on these little tiny squares instead, I don't know. But let's talk about what I was doing. So what I'm writing, it's loosely a college romance. I don't know why I said loosely, it is a college romance. It's a college romance with college is just the setting. I'm not really trying to focus on like the class aspect and like academics like at all. But yes, it's a college romance and I want them to live across the hall. The two, like the main couple, I want them to live across the hall from one another, just because of course I need there to be longing looks at the door. And of course their dorms have to be, they have to share a wall in their dorm, right? Of course. So I was trying to actually like visually plan it out. So a little bit of background for the story is that there are 6 characters, kind of like this found family. I've said that I like found family in the past. I'm not even sure if I'm really counting them as found family. It's just a friend group. There's 6 people. And I did that because I want to write more books, kind of like in this world. And I have like actually some really fun plans already for them. But I'm not going to give you their names, but I'll give you their initials. So here, let me show you. If we can. Ooh, let me rearrange. Okay, so it's a little bit backwards. I have to cover my face like this, otherwise it tries to focus on my face. I think the letters will be backwards when I'm editing this. I don't know. But you can see that on one side there's a P, an O, and an S. So, and then on the other side there's an H, a C, and a J. So the S is my main character and the H is her love interest. So you can see at the bottom, that's the hallway. Right when you walk in, I'm thinking that's like the living room area / kind of kitchen. And then down a hallway, there is the bathroom with my main character and then her 2 roommates, and then across the hall are the guys. Yeah, I just was like, I need to see this written out so like I can write it correctly, which to be fair, like the way that I've drawn it, when you walk in, alright, I'm not holding it up anymore. But when you walk in to it, like you walk in here and then there's the little living room, there's the kitchen, and you walk down the hallway, her room is to the right. And I'm glad I wrote this down and how I planned it, because in the note that she's left when they're like, because it opens with her like going to her new dorm, they're like, her roommate leaves a note that says your room is down the hall and to the left. And I mean, I could just have switched the order, like I totally could have put the girls in the other room and the guys in that room, and that would have been true. But this is how I'm gonna keep this little paper. This is how I'm choosing to have their dorm like kind of spread out in my mind. And she's down the hall and to the right. So it's a really good thing that I wrote this out. Oh, I just put my hand on my papers and crushed them. But yeah, did I feel focused? I mean, I guess. Definitely got distracted. I think I said when I was planning this, I was only gonna listen to 1 playlist, just to kind of get in the mood. And last time I didn't say this, but I started listening to a 2000s nostalgia playlist because this takes place in the like 2006. That's kind of the year I'm planning it to kind of take place. And last time I did start listening to a nostalgia playlist, and that's the playlist I listened to today, just to create the ambiance. So I'm still sticking with the 1 playlist idea. It's just not the original playlist that I said I was gonna do. In conclusion, I've now written like over 1,000 words. Quick maths. I've written over 1,000 words, and really the point of this challenge was just to get me to write. So I will see you guys next time I'm going to be doing the like energy gum, the focus gum that you chew, and then I will do a second round of all of this. And I have to rebuy sorry, my window's open. I have to rebuy the little energy like focus shot, because in my move I left it in my hot car and it went bad, so was not gonna drink that. But I'll see you guys next time. Hello. Sorry for the lighting. It's raining outside, but I have to record today. Anyways, it is time for round 3 of my little experiment, and today, probably the easiest thing to consume in the morning is this Neuro Energy and Focus Gum. This is actually like the entire reason I wanted to like do this challenge, because I was waiting in line at the pharmacy at CVS and I saw this, and there was a bunch of others, and it just looks nice and sleek, and like imagine you take this out while you're studying. And I was like, huh, I could totally like test out a writing challenge with this, and this is why. There's 9 pieces, which was crazy. I think it was like $5 or $6 for 9 pieces. I could be wrong. It says it has caffeine to boost, L-theanine to balance, B6 for brain, and vitamin B12 for body. Directions: take as necessary to support energy and focus. Do not swallow. 0 sugar, aspartame free, gluten free, and vegan. Yeah. So you guys, monk fruit extract. I don't know what monk fruit is. I see it a lot of places. Anyways, so these are only 40 milligrams of caffeine. This time, I don't know if I want to just take one or just chew one of them, or maybe in 30 minutes if the flavor is not good, maybe have a second one, because then that would put this up to 80 milligrams of caffeine. So that's kind of like in between the chocolate and the energy shot or whatever. Oh my goodness, blanked on that. I'll see what the vibe is. I will see how I'm feeling. This is the least scientific thing ever that I've been trying to make scientific. Oh, look at that. They're thick. They're pretty big. But yeah, let me see. Okay, a little taste test. They're kind of like funky, like if you can see a little beauty guru. Come on. It has little like green chunks in it. Ooh. Back. Weird texture, but weird texture. But yeah, let's get it. And this time I'm gonna try to not spend a whole 10 minutes. Ooh, don't like that. Actually, aftertaste. I'm gonna try not to spend 15 minutes of my writing challenge trying to draw up a dorm floor plan. So I will see you guys in a little bit. Alright, that is the hour over, and I wrote 637 words. That is the most that I have written out of this whole challenge with the least amount of caffeine, because I did not have a second piece of gum. I feel like after like 30 minutes it totally did run out of flavor, but like it's fine. And also there's only 9 in that pack, so if I want to use this later I'm gonna have to save them, I guess, because I'm not buying those again. But I definitely focused a lot better this time. Is that because I didn't get this thing in my head where I was like, okay, I need to draw it out right now. I don't know, because that did take me an obscenely long time to do last time. But also I feel like I did get slightly distracted because, like I mentioned, there are 6 kind of main characters in this. I'm focusing on 2 of them right now, but I always do this where I like fall in love with one of my secondary characters, and hypothetically I want the second book in this series. I know that's crazy that I'm already like thinking about like the other books, but I think ideally there's gonna be 4 books. First book about the first couple, second book about this couple, and then the last two are siblings, so I want them each to get their own, obviously their own book. But the second like couple, I just love them so much, and I love their dynamic already, and they're very much like childhood best friends, like just the type that are like an old married couple already, even though they're not dating. And I really want to write their story soon, but everything has to happen in the first book for me to write what happens in the second book. But so I have to focus, I have to lock in, I'm writing the first one first. But it's just so much fun to like have something fresh, because I always mention this, I've been writing my first book that I've been working on since 2020, and 2025 now, babes. It's been a real long time. To be fair, it was like December of 2020, but again, oh my god, almost 5 years. That's crazy. But it's just nice to have something fresh, have a whole new setting, because my original was Regency era. This is like college in the mid 2000s, and I'm having fun with it. I'm having a lot of fun listening to music, being inspired. I love making playlists. You know, maybe I'm going to put in a few of the songs like right here that I think I really feel like are like give the mood for this book so far, because that's my favorite thing to do, is to make like a Pinterest board and make a playlist. So maybe I'll like put in like a little mood board of what I'm doing at some point and like put in some, you know, music inspo. So the fact that you guys got to this point, you got to see that. But yeah, so that is, I'm 50% of the way through with this challenge, and I've written like a little bit less than 2,000 words, but it's getting written, and that is the point. So I will see you guys next time when I do all of these rounds again for my scientific purposes, that I'm gonna do 2 rounds of each. I'll see you guys soon. Good morning, everybody. It is time for round 4 of the experiment, and today I have one of the nasty energy shots again. The first one was like a slightly prettier color, and I didn't feel like it was gonna be as bad as it was. It was fine, but it was gross. Really, I guess, woke me up in the morning. This one is mango spinach. Fun fact is I originally bought these like when I started filming this challenge, honestly 2 months ago at this point. It is now October 1st. Ooh. And I left it in my car on accident while I was moving, because I was like, oh, I'll just take this to the new place with me, because I thought I would get this done a little bit quicker. And it curdled and got gross and expired, so I had to buy a new one. Wasted money on these energy shots. But let's try it. I only say wasted because I'm pretty sure, I can't remember what it is in the running. Sorry, I tried. Oh, I'm scared I'm gonna spill it on my bedspread. Oh. Okay, are we ready? I shouldn't have smelled it. Okay, here we go. Not as bad. Actually, that's kind of funny that that was like a really scary color, but better. It says it was mango spinach, but I taste like orange juice. It tastes like old orange juice and a little bit of greens. Not actually that bad, but this time I might not show you footage of me writing at my desk because I didn't realize how you can see all the mess in the frame. Oops. But I'll catch you guys up when we're done. All right. Okay, really quick update because I got places to be. That was my worst one yet. I wrote 596 words, so it was gearing up to be the best one that I did. But first of all, freezing in my apartment. That's why I'm in a sweater now. I had to go around and close all the windows. I had to turn on my space heater because it was so distracting to me. I found out Twice is playing at TD Garden in April. I almost bought $600 tickets from what I found out was a scam website, so I'm so freaking glad I did more investigating because they weren't on sale yet. So I almost, oh my god, I almost dropped $600 as a scam. Signed up for the pre-sale, blocked off my schedule so I could sit down and like focus on getting tickets. And something else, I did something else. My phone's buzzing because I have plans and times got mixed up, so that also happened. I really think I did lock in, but then I started to lock in on other things that were equally important. Seeing Twice is equally as important. But again, I only wrote almost 600 words. I didn't break 600 this time like I normally do. I need to turn my phone off next time. Maybe that's what I should have done this whole entire experiment. Just turn my phone off and toss it on my bed. I might have done that for the first time that I did this, but not for this one. I should have. Okay, so I will see you guys for the next round. Sorry, gotta go. Ah! Hello everybody, welcome back to day 4 of this writing challenge. fresh face, no makeup, hair looks like this, because I gotta get moving. I have a lot of chores and errands to run today, but I really, really wanted to actually get a day of writing in because I feel like I'm on such a roll recently with being in this universe that I don't want to give that up. So this writing challenge has actually really helped me like stay in it. But yeah, we are doing the Awake chocolates again today. Let me talk a little bit more before I speed up me chewing on this because it takes a long time to eat one of these. But I think my biggest challenge right now with the piece of writing I'm in is that, again, there's 6 main characters. Obviously, I'm only gonna be telling the point of view from one person this time, I think. Meanwhile, my first novel had like a dual POV. I'm staying just in my main character's head for this time. But the thing that I feel like I'm struggling with is I want to introduce all 6 characters right from the get-go. Like, you learn everybody's role in the friend group like immediately right away. Meanwhile, like my main character, she like is being entered into this friend group and she's kind of seeing their dynamics too. So I can't tell if it's too much that we're meeting everybody in the first chapter or if it's just enough. But you know, that's not first draft problems. That's second draft problems. Right now, I just need to focus on getting it on the page. So let us... I'd never noticed that one bite is half a cup of coffee. There's, again, 50 milligrams. I almost said 500. That was crazy. But yeah, I'm just gonna eat this again, which I love having chocolate at 9 in the morning. But let's go for it. I just saw a ladder go up on the side of my building. But my blinds are closed, so people don't see me talking to a tripod. Alright. I'm gonna finish eating this, and I will see you guys after. Too lazy to move the camera and get on my bed, so we're doing the wrap up from here, from this angle. Sorry. That was my worst one yet. I wrote 403 words, and that's because I was in my weakest area, and that is dialogue, where I know what I want the characters to say to each other, but it's the transitions between, like, trying not to use said, replied, asked, like all that too many times, but also not trying to make everything sound too clunky because I'm trying not to have them say all that. It's hard to describe, but I am very bad at dialogue, just connecting dialogue together, and that's exactly what I was doing for most of it. I also, you'll see with those last clips, took another little brain break because I was trying to figure out their seating arrangements. And I want them to have like their table at like the dining hall, and it's like very much like one of the characters is like, no, this is my table, but it's like slightly too small for the entire group to sit there, but they like are devoted to the table. And because when I was in college, I feel like there was like this one table that I always wanted to sit at, and I would get so angry when somebody was there. It's a public dining hall. But I would be so upset when somebody was sitting at that table. So I kind of wanted to like put a little piece of me in that, in the story. But yeah, so I made a seating arrangement for them. Even though the table looks big enough, because the way I drew it, it's just, I have a vision in my mind and I needed to see it. Also so I could do the flow of the discussion, where one of the girls that is going to, I didn't get to this part, there's a conversation that's about to happen, but the girls were like sitting completely across the table from one another as the guys were talking. So I had to have it where the guys got up and left, so then the girl could scooch across from my main character and talk to her. And I think just having that visual was really helpful for me, and this one didn't take an excessive amount of time like the last one did to draw out. But yeah, it's just the dialogue. That's the part that, and I was even more focused this time because I did go on my phone a little bit, but I almost got scammed out of $600 for concert tickets the last time I did this experiment, and I wrote way more words than I did this time, which is crazy. But yeah, that was my 5th. I said I was doing it for the 4th, like experiment number 4. I was wrong, it's experiment number 5. So that means we have 1 more to go. And then I can tell you guys the total amount that I wrote doing this challenge. See you guys next time. Good morning, everybody. It is day 6 of this writing challenge, the last and final day. We have a few confounding factors for this experiment today. One, I'm sure you can hear, but I do have my window open, and the audio is going to be terrible for this clip, but that is because it is raining outside. It is the perfect day for writing. Like the lighting in here is really bad. It's very dim, but that's because it's like storming outside. And that is the most perfect weather. Like that is why I moved to Boston, because I dreamed of this like fall, like this type of fall. So I'm so excited for that. So that's one thing, is that this is my favorite writing weather. So hopefully that'll make me a little bit more productive. And I also went to the gym, and I am an advocate for exercise and the endorphins that you get after you exercise. So that's also, I'm feeling already very productive. Like I went to the gym this morning, I already made myself a really good breakfast, and now I'm ready to write. So we have last day with the Focus gum, which this is what I think I wrote the most with last time. But also I am still in that dialogue heavy spot, so let's see. I'll see you guys back when I am done. Bye! Hello everybody, I am back. I just finished the 6th round of this experiment, and I wrote 737 words. I knew this was going to be the best day just from the vibes outside. Who knew that exercising actually makes you more productive in the day? That, and I have a candle going. It was just the perfect weather. It was the perfect setup. And along with what I was writing, I kind of decided, I was like, okay, I'm done with this piece of dialogue. I just did where sometimes what I do when I'm writing is, because this is the first draft, I just want to get it down. So instead of doing all the transitions and things, I just wrote down the conversation that I want to have happen. And then when I go to edit it later, then I will, you know, go and write all that stuff, which at first with the last one I didn't want to do, because I was like, oh, if I write more like of the transition stuff, I'll have more words, but then it was just hindering me. So I didn't. I wrote the dialogue and then I moved on, and then I put a lot of like info dump, because there's like kind of like it's like kind of magical realism. Like basically it's a contemporary story. I guess, can you say contemporary when it takes place in 2006? Whatever, but it's like more of a modern story, but there's a little kind of piece of magic that happens, but just with the main character, which is funny because I want it to be the central part of the main character story, but the rest of everybody else, it doesn't really apply. Whatever. But so I want that to have happen. So I was kind of info dumping a little bit, and I just keep saying to myself, like, I know this is info dumpy, I know this is, but later I can fix it. I can fix it later. So I wrote a lot. And let me see what I did for the math. So with the energy shots, the 2 experiments I did with that, in total I wrote 1,204 words. With the chocolate, I wrote With the chocolate, I wrote 942 words. And with the gum, I wrote 1,374 words. So winner is the gum, second is the energy shot, and third is the chocolate. Which kind of makes sense, because having like chocolate, like just like a piece of chocolate at 9 in the morning doesn't feel like the shots. I was like, okay, let's go. and then with the gum I was just chewing on it the whole time. So I felt like that was like good to keep my like mouth occupied, rather than, I don't know, rather than doing other things. I just felt like it helped. In total I wrote 3,719 words, and that is 3,719 words that did not exist before this challenge, because I was so in the camp of I want to plot everything before I even begin writing it that I was really putting off starting it. But this really helped me start this novel, and I actually had a lot of fun. I do feel like I'm excited to edit this video and be done with this video, because it took me 3 months to film it because I had to do it on my days off. But I had fun, and like I said, this is almost 4,000 words that would not have gotten written otherwise. So this is just kind of another piece of the saga of I have to trick myself into writing, even though it's something I enjoy doing. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Sorry for the audio again in this clip. I know it's really loud outside. I can hear the sirens and the trash truck, but I will see you guys in my next video. Oh my god. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you. Goodbye.